Okay, so we're going to have a look at the Hurling Club Power Rankings from 10 to 1 from the remaining sides left in the All-Ireland Club Senior Hurling Championship. Now, do bear in mind, these are my own power rankings, just as I said in the football power rankings that we uploaded there last week. These are my own power rankings. This is my own opinion on the top 10 teams left in the All-Ireland Club Senior Hurling Championship. But, of course, do feel free to disagree and let me know down in the comments below what changes you would make, what teams you would maybe have in instead, or maybe what order you would have these top 10 teams left. And of course, there aren't actually too many sides left in the All-Ireland Club Senior Hurling Championship, so I don't think there was too many teams actually left out of the top 10. One or two maybe, but we'll certainly get into that along the way. I suppose, look, listen, we'll call it out straight away and we'll throw an image on screen so some of you lads can see there. So Clough-Ballacolla of Laois is in at 10, Dunloy of Antrim is 9, Slotneil of Derry is 8, Middleton of Cork is 7, Loughmore Castleiney of Tipperary is 6, Kilmallock of Limerick is 5, St Thomas of Galway is 4, Kilmacud Crokes of Dublin is 3, Ballygunner of Waterford is 2, and Ballyhale Shamrocks of Kilkenny is 1. I suppose straight away looking at that list, is there any sides that are maybe a little bit unlucky to miss out? I mean, obviously the Galway Senior Hurling Championship hasn't, the Galway Senior Hurling Championship final is this weekend, so that actually hasn't happened yet. That's between St Thomas and Clarenbridge. I think if Clarenbridge were to beat St Thomas, I'd put them at 4 anyways. So I just wanted to allow another side from another county to get in the list there. But if Clarenbridge were to overturn St Thomas, I think I'd throw them in at number 4. In all honesty. And then you have St Rynagh's of Offaly, maybe a little bit unlucky to miss out. I don't know a huge deal about them. In all honesty, I wouldn't know that much about Offaly hurling, unfortunately. And look, listen, we'll get to see what they're like against either Ballyhale or Mount Leinster Rangers. Mount Leinster Rangers maybe a little bit unlucky to miss out as well, but I think after what Clough-Ballacolla done to Rapparees in that Leinster quarter final, I think that's the reason why they get in at number 10. And I think with players in there like Willie Dunphy, Willie Hyland, and of course Stephen Picky-Maher, I think they get in at number 10 in my opinion. And running through the list again, I mean, I suppose we just spoke about why we had Clough-Ballacolla in at number 10. I suppose in terms of the next two on the list, you obviously have Dunloy in there and you have Slotneil in at 8. Slotneil beat Dunloy the last time these two sides met in the Ulster Club Senior Hurling Championship. Dunloy have certainly kicked on a lot more since then, no doubt about it. And I mean, the growth of Antrim hurling has been brilliant over the past couple of years. Look, listen, there's nothing really to split these two, in my opinion. I think until these two play each other, we'll definitively know which side is ranked above the other. Interesting enough, according to the betting odds, both of these two sides are favoured at the exact same to win the All-Ireland, which shows you that there really isn't too much to split through these sides. But I suppose for Dunloy, look, they do have some notable players in there like Paul Shields and Keelan Malloy. Chrissy McMahon has done a great job in there as well. So like Dunloy are looking pretty good, to be fair to them. And I suppose for Slotneil, I mean, very good dual club, as we very well know. The likes of Chrissy McKagan there. You know, a tremendous amount of talent all across the board in Slotneil. Brendan Rodgers as well, another notable hurler. Not the manager of Leicester City. That's a different Brendan Rodgers you're thinking of. This is a different one. It's not the same one. He doesn't play hurling as well, although that would be pretty funny, wouldn't it? But not quite him. But it is a different Brendan Rodgers. Just thought I'd clarify. But yeah, between them two, you really can't split them. And until those two play each other, in about 2 weeks' time, I suppose then we'll know a little bit more. And I suppose the next three in the list between Middleton, Loughmore Castleiney and Kilmallock, I really couldn't split these at all. I mean, you could split a knife between these and you wouldn't know which one is which. I mean, let's be perfectly honest, because like really until whoever comes through Munster, I think Ballygunner are probably the obvious favourites there to come through Munster, but I think between the other three, it's really wide open. Obviously Middleton have the likes of Conor Lahan in there, who's obviously shot the lights out, probably been the top player, top performer in the Cork Senior Hurling Championship. Ross O'Regan and Sean O'Mara have looked fairly impressive in there as well from a Middleton point of view. And look, it's going to be interesting to see how they get on in that opening game against Kilmallock, and that will certainly, you know, answer a couple of questions in terms of who's above the other. The reason why I've got Kilmallock in at 5 in particular is because, look, we know the standard of Limerick hurling, and when you look at some of the teams that Kilmallock have beaten on their way coming through the Limerick Senior Hurling Championship, beating the likes of Patrickswell, for example, who, you know, have notable players in there like Cian Lynch, you know, and Limerick obviously at the minute in terms of the inter-county game are probably at the top of their game in terms of senior hurling. They're certainly the number 1 ranked county, no doubt about it. So plenty of talent in that Kilmallock side. Graham Mulcahy is obviously a player who stands out. Be intrigued to see how they get on. Look, they haven't, it's new waters for them in many ways. I know they came through Munster a couple of years ago, came through Limerick a couple of years ago, and actually won the Munster Club Hurling Championship as well. But it is new waters for many of those lads, and it's going to be interesting to see how they get on against Middleton. And as for Lockmore Castellini, I suppose the tough one for them is that they are coming up against the Munster favourites in Ballygunner. Ballygunner have been tremendous so far this year, coming through Waterford. We've seen that dominant display that they gave against Ballyea. So it's going to be tough for Lockmore Castellini to really overcome that. But I have got them in at 6. Look, as we very well know, with Lockmore Castellini, you can't deny their fight. You can't deny their fighting spirit. They'll always give themselves a chance, and you wouldn't write them off in Munster, no doubt about it. But yeah, I suppose for the next 3, Kilmallock, Lockmore Castellini and Middleton, I'd be surprised to see any of these come out of Munster, but between the 3 of them, you could really have any of them anywhere between 5, 6 and 7. And then you have the big 4, St Thomas, Kilmacud Crokes, Ballygunner and Ballyhale. I think Ballygunner and Ballyhale, I think they picked themselves in at 1 and 2 right now. I think the next 2 is interesting, Kilmacud Crokes and St Thomas. I mean, some would have St Thomas ahead of Kilmacud Crokes. It's an interesting one, and certainly we'll have to see as the championship goes along. But I think Kilmacud Crokes, how they dispatched of Nafina in extra time, how brilliantly they beat Raharney, I think they just about squeeze into number 3, in my opinion. I know St Thomas have really comfortably come through the Galway Hurling Championship up until the final. I think maybe if St Thomas get through Clarenbridge and put in a brilliant performance, then maybe they might move up to number 3. But I've just got Kilmacud edging them, in my opinion. Ronan Hayes has been in incredible form so far this year. Dara Purcell, a top-class player in there as well. Orca McMullen, Fergal Whiteley, like so much talent all across the board for Kilmacud Crokes. And for St Thomas, I mean, obviously with the fact that Galway is streets ahead of everyone in Connacht in terms of hurling, if St Thomas come through that game, they will be straight into the All-Ireland Club semi-finals. So we'll certainly learn a lot as we go along. And for St Thomas and for Kilmacud Crokes, I mean, I definitely do think they're behind the front 2, and we'll get on to them now, Ballygunner and Ballyhale. I mean, you'd have to put Ballyhale at number 1. You just would, with the players that they have, and TJ Reid and Owen Reid, Owen Cody. I mean, they just have a whole host of phenomenal talent all across the board. You're looking at, Colin Fenley and Joey Holden as well. You've had players that have come through there, like the likes of Eddie Shefflin and whatnot. So I think with Ballyhale, you'd have to put them at number 1. They won the last 2 All-Irelands. Obviously, there was no All-Ireland Club Senior Hurling Championship last year because of COVID, but in the previous 2 years they won it. They came through Leinster, they came through Kilkenny obviously as well. They've been fairly dominant in doing so. They're just a machine of a team, and I think you'd have to put them at number 1 right now. For Ballygunner though, after seeing how they performed against Ballyea, Desi Hutchinson has been a fantastic addition for this Ballygunner side since he came back from playing soccer with Brighton. Porrick Mahoney, Mikey Mahoney, these guys in there. Peter Hogan's obviously come on leaps and bounds with the Waterford senior hurlers in the past year, so he's a fantastic addition into that team as well. It is all looking set and made for a Ballygunner and Ballyhale final, but as we know in sport, sometimes there's shocks, there's spills, and there's going to be plenty of trills and spills along the way in the All-Ireland Club Senior Hurling Championship. I've no doubt about it. So I would put Ballyhale in at one right now, Ballygunner at 2, but it's going to be close. And a Ballygunner Ballyhale game, I mean, that would be an absolute cracker. But we'll have to wait and see what happens. A perfect example is in the All-Ireland Senior Football Championship and the Inter-County Championship. We all expected there to be a Dublin and Kerry final, and that wasn't what happened. It was the other way around. It was Tyrone and Mayo, the 2 other sides in the semi-finals. So, you can look at the layout and you can think, surely it would be Ballyhale and Ballygunner, but Kilmacud Crokes, St Thomas, maybe even Clarenbridge could pull off a bit of a run as well. So yeah, they are my power rankings from 10 to 1 in the All-Ireland Club Senior Hurling Championship. Let me know yours down in the comments below. Let me know your top 3, top 4, and let me know who you would have as favourites right now for the All-Ireland Club Senior Hurling Championship. But yeah, my name is Aaron. Leave a like and subscribe if you enjoy this content. Hit the notifications bell as well so you're notified every time I drop a new video. And I'll see you all in the next one.